Ahoy there, me hearties, my name is Octavian, and we are about to set sail on yet another adventure into Summoner's Rift, up and down the river, through all the lanes, into the jungle, and wherever this game may take us. How's everybody doing today? I promise you my pirate impersonations are done. I will hold off for the rest of the game, but it was fun. I like trying to come up with new intros rather than the simple, plain old script that I've stuck to for the first 20 or 30 or so of these episodes. It's good to mix it up here or there. There are 100 of these that I have to get through in the end. And this is yet another one, I believe, episode 67, if I recall correctly, pulled from a normals draft game somewhere in silver or gold range. Pretty much dead average for what play level we can be expecting. But that doesn't mean there can't be some interesting things happen. Seriously, in my time shoutcasting for this series here, I have discovered that amazing and incredible plays can happen regardless of ELO, and the opposite side of that coin is also true. That you can have really, really unfortunate plays, and anti-plays, I guess you'd call them, happen no matter what level you're at as well. Diamonds can be bronze, and bronze can be diamond, if only for just a moment. As it looks like Nunu's going to be starting off at the Gromp camp. Spiky bits around to toss out a boomerang or two, but won't really need to do too much more. That is one of the nice things about Nunu. It doesn't require too much of a leash. Frost, on the other hand, is getting a good bit of a leash from his bot lane. Showtime and Zakarin bring that sucker down to half health before they head on home to base. Might be a little bit impactful there, seeing as it does mean that Zayo is able to push a little bit and get a bit of a level advantage, or XP advantage rather. It hasn't translated into a level quite yet. We're only 2 minutes into the game. And that is a heavily AD Gnar, as we saw from the few auto attacks and the boomerang that landed there. And also, we get to be seeing the new Ashe today. So, that's fun. I'm looking forward to that. Zayo getting flayed back, actually. Showtime doing some good damage. There's the Eye of the Storm to block a bit more, and the focus comes out. Those flame, or icy bullets shooting out for huge chunks of damage. And the newer remake of Ashe is actually quite good at the level 1 plays. Ashe always was, previously because of the guaranteed crit, now because of the Hunter's focus on her Q. After 5 auto attacks stack up, she's able to do that right there, loading out a ton of extra damage. Zakarin going down below half health. They are simply ignoring this Ashe, perhaps not the right call, as now Zakarin is getting knocked up into the air. The heal is burned. Zayo going very low himself. He gets landed by a zap. That's the heal from blue team down. Showtime in a lot of trouble here, gets chased off by some frosty shots. And both bottom laners, for both teams, will be dropped below half hit points. Ooh, hook flies out, doesn't quite connect. Rengar waiting in the bush. Must be quite low. No, he's not very low on health. I'm wondering why he isn't choosing to go for this engage. He had a nice spot there, and it looked like blue team hadn't seen him. Then again, a level 2 Rengar, not exactly the most efficient ganking machine. The Spiky Bits continues to harass up in the top lane, and speaking of ganks, Tyrwin just harassing the TF away from mid lane. Nunu not exactly known, as is Rengar, so actually both junglers fairly light on the gank sauce early on in the game. I'm going to be copywriting that phrase. Ooh. The snare, there's the flay backwards against the wall. Flash burn from the Ashe. Now Zakarin might be in some trouble, though. His flash is going to be taken out as well. All the summoners down from bottom lane. Well, actually, no. Pengu hasn't had to burn any. The exhaust is still held onto here from blue team. That actually might prove really momentous as Pengu is moving forward. The Zephyr is available, the exhaust as well. The knockup lands. Can Zayo get in range? He does. The first blood is there. And that'll be blue team picking that one up as Tyrwin continues to lay the pressure on. Ooh, the flash forward for the snare, or the stun rather, but it doesn't quite connect. The ignite is burning on both sides, and that will be the kill going to Brand. But he falls in the end for his hubris. Flashing underneath the tower and missing a skill shot usually isn't the way to secure a kill, but he at least managed to get one out of his death. As we move towards the 5th minute of this game, blue team has 2 kills up, or rather 1 kill up, 2 kills total, over red team's singular kill. And we're still very much on the fence with this match. No early game breaks in either direction. Bot lane perhaps a bit, though, to be fair. Ashe has managed to build up a CS lead because of that first blood. And we do still have a flash up on the Janna, so they even still have the summoner advantage. Not a hugely impactful one. Flash on Janna, not the most scary cooldown. More just an escape tool than anything else. Engaging on Janna generally is a little bit tricky. but it's certainly possible. And the flash is going to be invaluable either way. Zayo has actually chosen to stay in lane. I'll have to check and see how much gold he has. He's sitting on, looks like 2,000 gold there. Or no, 1,500 gold, 2,000 total. And he could afford the BF sword if he decided to go back. But if he went back now, he'd be staggering his back with Pengu, and that's just generally not advised. You can lose out on XP or CS that way. Here comes Zekarin coming on in. Showtime looking for the flay. He gets it onto Pengu, but Tyrwin is in the bottom lane. And what could have been a nice 2v2 for Red Team gets chased away by the presence of a Nunu, but they still land the hook onto Zayo. The zap to follow up. Can Zakarin get the kill? One more rocket would have done it. Zayo goes down to the minion damage. Keck Zakarin picks that one up, and Pengu just can't defend his friend well enough. Now here comes the zap, gets dodged to the side. John is a tricky little beast. But the flay lands. Showtime is looking for that hook as well. Doesn't have any backup though. Just keeping the Janna away from the CS, away from the XP. More importantly, nice damage from the wild cards, and that might just be enough for Frost to pick up the kill here. French trolls will go down. As TF just keeps his distance and tosses out a little bit of damage. The easiest gank of Rengar's life. Pengu, I don't know if you want to go that close to the minion wave all by yourself. Here comes the zap. There's the hook. Ooh, over-predicted the dodge. Would have been beautiful had Pengu chosen to flash that direction or simply walked farther in that direction. It would have been really nice. But sometimes your predictions are just a little bit too much. Ashe has returned to lane at this point, and Zayo has picked up that BF sword, which he likely could have gotten earlier if he had backed with Janna. The death there earlier on, I would like to say, is kind of a result of having staggered the back with Pengu and not having gone back after getting the kill. He got a CS lead out of it, but I don't know if it's worth the death. About 15 CS to a kill on average, so actually 15 CS up, that means that he still has about a kill's worth of gold over Zakarin here, which does translate into that BF sword, especially considering that Zakarin has gone with the longsword and boots early on. He's going to be behind for a little while in this lane in terms of a 2v2. But they are still pushing up. They're playing as if they're not behind, and it's kind of seems to be throwing Pengu and Zayo off. They're actually playing safe, rather than looking to go for the engage or poke with volleys even. Zayo's just farming out the minions and letting Zakarin farm himself. There seems to be some kind of peace treaty signed that I was not aware of. Though that peace treaty might be broken with Rengar coming towards the bottom lane. No, he's just going for the crab, it looks like. And this top lane is somewhere we haven't spent enough time. And neither have the junglers, it seems, as it's 0-0-0 for both sides there, but the CS lead speaks a tale more than the KDA does. Ooh, Hunter's Focus is activated. There's the ulti, but it flies wide. Keck Zakarin dodging to the left or the right. Directions are hard. MVP, once again the target of Tyrwin's ire. This Nunu does not like TF, and honestly, I think it's a good choice for him to keep on ganking the mid lane there, because the Twisted Fate's laning phase is one of the places where he's weakest. He's very, very good at applying that global pressure, but if you can harass him down pre-6... Oh, actually, Pengu getting hit by the hook there. There's the box as well, but Zayo's just doing so much more damage right now because of that BF sword lead. Showtime might be in some trouble. There's the teleport. Bool gonna pull himself back into this game with a double kill in the bottom lane. Great map awareness. And he completely makes up for the lost CS in the top lane. Saves what could have been a really bad skirmish for Red Team's bottom lane. Now all Spiky Bits is going to get for it is some damage onto this turret, which admittedly is a good thing, but not going to really be worth it. He had that lane locked down. He had kept the Hecarim from getting out of control, and just a really well-timed teleport and an unfortunate skirmish for Blue Team brings Bool roaring on back into this game. Speaking of roaring, Frost is going for the dragon here alongside his horsey friend. They're going to be able to take that one down. Dragon 3 kills up in a slight gold lead. Brings Red Team back on into this game. Not that they were ever too far out of it, but the small lead is now in their favor rather than against them. It's going to be interesting to see how this Brand rolls on into the rest of the game, really. And speaking of Brand, he's getting flashed on the Ignite. Is there the wild cards come out, and he doesn't dodge to the side. MVP will get the kill, and can he escape it? And actually, Tyrwin choosing not to go for the rest of the fight there. He had the ult available, but just didn't think he'd be able to chase down the TF. Especially not when he's basically still full on health. Zayo has the Hunter's Focus available. He's playing somewhat aggressively. The Zap comes out, the Hook flies out as well. Both of them miss. Blue team's bottom lane could go fairly aggressive here. The cooldowns are down for red. But Zayo chooses to play it a bit safer. Go for the guaranteed farm, rather than the potential of a kill. Zap again flying wide. As Showtime is positioning a little bit aggressively, maybe looking for the Flay. Gets a crit for his troubles. Must be 1% crit rune for Zayo or something along those lines, because he hasn't built any crit yet, but that was a crit, unless my eyes deceive me. Ooh, French Troll's turning it around, does a bunch of damage. That is one thing you can say about Brand. As Bool gets thrown away, actually, I think Spiky Bits was aiming for the wall, but he didn't quite have the range, and he angled it a bit too far to the left. Now Tyrwin coming to the bottom lane, splitting his focus to a different lane at this point, but I think he got spotted by the minions. There's the Lantern, avoiding the knockup. Flash forward from Tyrwin. He's going to get hooked underneath the tower there. There's the ulti from Ashe, lands onto Showtime, and the ulti from Kex Zakarin will land onto all three members of the other team. That is one of the advantage of rockets over arrows. And now French Troll's getting leapt upon by a red buff. Rengar flashes away from the bolas, but still flash under the tower. Returning in kind, Frost will pick up the solo kill. And red team is starting to run away with this game here. Not a guaranteed victory by any stretch of the imagination quite yet, especially considering the scaling that new Ashe can have into the later game. Spiky Bits will get the top lane turret, throw a boulder at MVP for his trouble, flash away to try and create some distance. As we swap to bottom lane and back up to top lane, and the camera doesn't know what to do because the hook's landing onto Zayo. There's the Flay under the tower there, the knockup onto Showtime, but Frost is coming around the corner, and it's only a matter of time before Pengu goes down, slowed by 90% from that wall, and Frost is here. The Bolas doesn't connect, but he's going to be in the bush, and he's got a red buff. Can he get in range for the leap? He cannot, because he was walking outside the bush. That is a little bit unfortunate. Chose to autopath, probably, just right-clicking on the enemy champion. And so the autopathing didn't bring him through the edge of the bush, and so he didn't leap out. Pro tip for playing Rengar. A lot of players, when they play this game, will just spam right-click where they're going. That's actually a really good thing to do on Rengar, because of what just happened to Frost there. And speaking of Frost, Tyrwin is in the 1v1 with them, and he really can't be. Frost is on a killing spree now. Very, very good at those 1v1s, especially against a Nunu. Not exactly a high-damage champ. Especially not when he's been kind of kept down in the jungle this whole time. His ganks in the mid lane have worked out fairly well, but other than that, he hasn't found nearly as much success as Frost has. That'll be traded in the bottom lane now, even on those for both teams. Ooh, the Seer comes out, and MVP is actually going to get targeted by the tower as well. Half of his health is gone. French Trolls could really go for this fight. There's the ulti. The Ignite is burning, and so is his passive. Does trade the turret for it, but that will be MVP going down. Not exactly living up to his name there. Or at least the part of his name that I am choosing to read, because the rest of it is almost illegible. But that's okay. People can have whatever names they like. I'm not here to judge. Ooh, hook lands onto Pengo. Showtime not going to follow it up, though. Not exactly the target he wants to hit, and Hunter's Focus is up for Zayo right now. It's always best to pick a fight with Ashe when you don't see the glowy quiver, like he doesn't have that available to throw lots of extra damage at you. Now Frost, below half health, as Spiky Bits is going for the 1v1, he is forced to pop into the hunt. Just to try and escape from there. Not much of a hunt. Oh, French Trolls, you might be in some trouble. Frost sees you, and he has a pink ward. He's going to leap out of the bush, dodges away from the Pillar of Flame, heals himself with the Empowered W, and now Zayo is getting leapt upon by Buell. He's trying to make a repeat of his previous glory with the teleport to the bottom lane, but it does not look like he'll be able to get it, as the rest of his team was busy dealing with the interloping blue team over by the blue buff, and he was left all on his own to deal with the Janna and an Ashe, and that is a very difficult combo to chase down. Horsey's going to give up the ghost. Get it because he's a ghost, Horsey? Hey, you get it. You get it? It was a funny joke. I thought so. Ooh, the Eye of the Storm will keep Zayo just about alive, but is it enough? There's the Monsoon as well. Sort of knocks Kekins toward him, but thankfully it does also have a stun attached. The blue trinket to keep an eye on Kex, and another eye comes up over Zayo. Here comes the TF ulti. There's the blue card! Swaggin' on Zayo. He doesn't even need the gold card. Well, blue card does technically do more damage, and if he's that low on health, then there's no real reason to do the gold card if you know the blue will be enough to kill them. So, it's really more of a secure to do the blue, if they are very, very low on health. As Frost gets hit by the third proc of Hyper, he might be in a lot of trouble here, leaping on forward, jumping off the Janna. Spiky Bits looking to gain some distance, but those are boots of mobility on that Rengar's Feeties, and so he'll be able to get away. I didn't know they made boots that fit gigantic paws filled with claws, but I guess Gnar has to wear them too. I wonder how they make boots that fit Gnar. I mean, that must be a hell of a job. like gigantic boots that shrink somehow whenever he changes back to mini Gnar form. I feel sorry for the tailor. Or no, that would be the cobbler. I feel sorry for the cobbler that has to deal with that Yordle from the past. Here comes Spiky Bits over the wall, tosses out a boomerang, does get the slow into Buell. But Buell is really dead set on getting this tower, perhaps even at the cost of his life. He's down below half health. The Hyper Procs are doing big chunks of damage. Spiky Bits is going to transform here, and not going to go for the chase. He's content with keeping the horse back from any further pushing, as Red Team goes for a 3-man dragon here. Tier 1 going to flash over the wall, does get CC'd to hell and back, but he is going to be able to secure the dragon. The ulti just for good measure, but I don't think he's going to get anything with that. But at least he stole the dragon. Showtime not really in too much trouble because Zayo is getting burst down. Double kill for Jinx. Finally, Brand picks up the kill. When really, Showtime ate so many cooldowns. And so many... and there were so many attempts at his life that just ended in death. That Red Team is probably going to be okay with that trade if it weren't for the dragon having been stolen away. Oh, here comes Frost. He's going for the solo kill on the French Trolls again. He manages to dodge away from the stun, and French Trolls has given up. Kex Zakarin is godlike. 7, 1, and 3. Coming out of the laning phase with guns literally blazing. I wonder what the next move for Blue Team is going to be in this sort of situation. They have a decent late game with the Ashe, and they have a lot of methods to protect her. Tier win, of course, with the Absolute Zero. They've got Spiky Bits to some extent in Mega Gnar form. He is quite actually good at peeling. It's one of the sort of undiscovered strengths of Mega Gnar. Spiky Bits, though, speaking of Mega Gnar, is in mega amounts of trouble, and that's done. He's not going to save his life. An 8th kill for the enemy Jinx. Does trade it for a turret, though. We've been seeing a lot of that this game. I think there's been like 4 separate occasions where someone has died to pick up a turret. High premium put on those turret kills. Maybe I am overvaluing the late game potential of the new Ashe, however. In which case, Blue Team is really going to be at a loss moving forward. Pengu getting hooked. There's Frost. He gets exhausted. The ulti from Pengu as well. There is a lot of peel here. The ulti to the back lines is MVP. Flashes forward for the gold card. Tier win is going to be going down. Zayo gets some good damage on the Frost, but is not going to be enough to bring him down, as the volley comes out to try and slow down MVP. If he can get in range for this gold card, that is a dead Zayo, but I don't think he will. Ooh, actually, ulti to turn around. Showtime going to be the target of Zayo. However, Frost is still in the back lines, and he comes to the front for the kill. Now Showtime will go down to Spiky Bits, but Frost will be able to roam his way out of the jungle, as Zakarin has been split pushing bottom lane this whole time, and will get another turret. The flash! Pengu will just about get away with his life there, at the end of a dive that we didn't get to see. Ooh, the Seer doesn't connect. Buell. I don't know if that would have been a stun, actually. I don't think the passive was on it. And Red Team is starting to steamroll through this one. The stun lands on MVP. There's the Pillar of Flame. He picked a fight he could not win. Yeah, he's never lost a fair fight, but he's never been in one either. I think that's one of Twisted Fate's quotes. I know this game very well. That's why they pay me the big bucks to talk about video games. They don't pay me the big bucks. But anyways, let's get back into League of Legends, shall we? Let's look at some of the builds, because we haven't done that quite yet. I'm a little bit surprised to see that Buell has not gone with a higher level pair of boots early on. A lot of top lane Heckrons, especially ones that take teleport, will go... Ooh, actually, Tier 1 getting hooked by Showtime. Not really going to be much coming to that. Neither side had a ton of damage bringing to bear. Nunu, Janna, and Thresh. That would make for quite a long fight. If they were all building conventionally, yes, you could go with the AP Nunu or the AD Thresh if you wanted to. Let's not go there. It's a very silly place. There we do. See, finally, the Mercury trade's completed. But as I was saying, you often see the Hecarim top go with an early pair of boots so that he can get the home guard upgrade specifically and make those teleport ganks happen. But it seems like he didn't really need it. As we saw earlier, Buell got those 2 kills that he has under his belt from quite a nice teleport gank anyway, and that was without the aid of home guards. So, rushing the Triforce perhaps the better choice for him here, since if he was confident in his teleport play without even having to use those. The home guards, that is. Ooh, Zeo gets hit by the hook, and that is going to be him going down. I see no way out of this for the Ashe unless Flash and Heal brings him out. No, the gold card as well from the side, and the ulti. Frost is dominating, and Tyrwin is going very, very low. The Zap flies out, hits a minion, though, and a lot of damage under the Jinx. There's the Brand ult following him, even past the Flash, but thankfully there's nothing left to bounce on. So Jinx will get away fairly low on health. As Frost leaps out of invisibility onto Tyrwin, looking to trade a kill at least. Actually, he gets out with his life. He flashes away. These people are making me look like fools because they keep getting away with barely any health. Here comes Buell, the teleport game. That wasn't even a teleport. He just roamed on in. Frost is legendary. Buell picks up another kill, and Spiky Bits, despite all his best efforts, still has to flash away and might end up going down if Frost or Buell can get in range. No. He'll be back under the tower. He'll be safe. The red team, with a 4-4-0 trade, will look to take down the secondary mid lane turret. Buell will go down. So the Ashe ult came and sealed his fate. Spiky Bit's very, very low. However, Kex didn't have any mana, and so he's going to go down for a double kill. No, you dove too far and too deep. You dug. That's Lord of the Rings reference, and I did it wrong. Zeo will pick up a kill. And actually quite an impactful one. That is a shutdown onto the Rengar. And as I was saying, Ashe is their late game hope. Ashe is most of their hope, though Brand, of course, does some good damage as well. But if they're really looking for the heavy late game damage, they are going to have to rely on that Hunter's Focused empowered auto attack bearing Ashe, firing out ridiculous amounts of arrows and whatever else it is that she fires alongside them. They look like tiny little bolts of blue spirit ice. That is what they are now. It's official. You can only leash the buffs so many times with the recent patch. As we saw there, the red buff going on home. Despite the fact that it was still being shot in the back with arrows, it stopped caring. Eventually, they will do that. And like a vengeful girlfriend. Dragon is getting taken by 4 members of Red Team. It's going to be going down. That is the 3rd Dragon stack. No, actually, no. One of them was stolen away by the Nunu. Flashed over the wall for the Smite and Consume. Oh, Zakarin looking for the engage. He does have his team to back him up. Showtime's here as well. Spiky Bix down below half health, but there's the flash from Tyrwin into the instant hook. Showtime manages to stop the Nunu ulti, but I don't know if that's enough double kill for Brand. This AoE damage is coming in force. There's the Pillar of Flame. Catches onto the horse. I don't know if they can finish off the kill, though, before Frost comes in and tries to clean up a bit of his own. He will get 1 kill. Will he get 2? Tyrwin going very, very low. MVP will port on in and finish that one off. I don't know if that was the best place for the horse to be. Does go down to the volley. Now Zeo in a lot of trouble here. Frost will get the kill. Actually, no. Wildcards from MVP will seal the deal there. And Frost and MVP will push up the mid lane, opposed only by French trolls. They perhaps will be able to take down this inhibitor turret. Wildcards comes out, doesn't hit its mark. And it looks like French trolls, with the generous wave clear that a Brand does indeed have, will be able to hold off MVP and, well, Frost as well by default, since he decided to go and push down a different lane. He's going to get some farm down in the bottom lane, and this game will continue on. The advantage solidly in the hands of Red Team. No attack speed built yet on Jinx, though. Interesting choice. Gone just really heavy AD. That's going to make the zaps and the ults hurt quite a bit. But I'm assuming the next item will be an attack speed one to help her scale a little bit harder into the later game. She does have an 8 attack speed in her queue, but we'll get back to that in a moment. As Spiky Bits does land the slow onto Frost. Zeo, where are you going? I think he had the shop open. Or maybe I just right-clicked somewhere and had forgotten about his champion. Frost will at least trade back the kill. Or Tyrwin will trade back the kill onto Frost. But that was an unfortunate situation for Zeo. Always bad when you forget that you exist. Doesn't lend itself to good gameplay. Zakarin coming around from the side might actually be in some trouble now. The boomerang landed onto him. Tyrwin is around there too. He has an ice ball to slow him down. The ulti as well, charging that up with a lantern over the wall. Will bring Zakarin to safety. And we do have a teleport actually as well. Buell coming in. Bueller. Spiky Bits gets brought down to half health. Hyper procs. He gets the speed buff to get away from the horsey. And it looks like he's not going to be able to chase anybody down. I doubt he'll get Pengu. Zakarin, not exactly too threatened by Tyrwin. Will kite back a little bit. The hook lands onto Tyrwin as well. And without Frost here, these fights are way less explosives. Red team is actually down to half health. Speaking of explosive, there's the Jinx ult. He doesn't do all that much. The zap comes out. Buell gets stunned up by the arrow. Takes the lantern, but Zayo's auto attack follows him anyways. Now MVP looking for that blue card for the extra damage. He's on a rampage, and the ulti will get him out in time. No, French Trolls tossed the stun, but it didn't quite connect. Here comes Frost out of the bush. 5 stacks of ferocity. And French Trolls does get the Zonias, but it's not going to matter. He just waits around for the statue to turn back into a living, breathing man of fire. Zakarin's going to go down as Zayo flashes after him, and this is the cleanup crew. Spiky Bits and Zayo. Put on a pair of aprons and call yourselves janitors. Frost leaps out of the bush, and he is here to take on the job as well. Spiky Bits gets flashed onto. The Chilling Smite is there. He's going to leap out of the bush one more time. And in the competition of janitorial duties, I think Frost is going to be coming out with a solid 10 out of 10. First place for the Rengar. And a triple kill to boot. It's a lot of gold in his pocket. 15 and 2. Frost has been doing quite a good job this game. Leading with some early game presence, even on a Rengar, which is a bit difficult to accomplish. And then moving into being quite a good janitor / assassin as we move forward. Blue team not really handling the Rengar correctly. They have the tools to do so, but it's just they haven't really been brought to bear. Pengu, the monsoons that I've seen from him have been fairly panic-based, I would say. They haven't really been calculated. He hasn't been saving them for the correct moment to deal with Frost's aggression. They've just been used when people are low on health and, oh my god, I need to heal people now, and ult. But speaking of ults, there's Buell to the backlines. That is going to be another double kill for Frost. Can he make it a triple? No, the ulti from Zayo will lock him down, and the kill goes over to the Gnar, as well as another one into Zayo's pockets. A lot of utility in that dash. Ooh. TF ulti comes in from the side. Zayo just going to turn away as he does see the cards stacking up against him. Wild cards flies out, but he dodges that. You know he can still see you in that bush. The vision is there. The blue trinket as well for some vision from Zayo. Here comes Cho from the side, though. There's the hook. It flies out, but it doesn't connect, but that doesn't matter. MVP had the damage he needed. Can he get away? No, he cannot. Tyrwin picks up that kill. And now Zakarin is getting leapt upon by Spiky Bits. Tyrwin is there. How does he still have health left? Spiky Bits will pick up the kill, and showtime. There's no way out of this for you. It's a long, painful, slow death against a red buff Gnar. The wallop lands, the boulder connects, and Spiky Bits will get the kill. Fight after fight after fight. As the blue team takes home another few kills, stalling out the game even longer. Which is really all that they can do right now. And what they really need to do. They need to stall out the game, and they need to deal with Frost. Because so many of the kills are in Frost's pocket, because so much of the gold is loaded into that Rengar, the team comp for Red Team is really lopsided. There's 38 kills, and 17 of them are on one character, are on one single Rengar. And Rengar is fairly squishy, and they've got a lot of damage to bring to bear with the Ashe and the Brand. If they can hold down the Rengar, if the Ashe ult connects correctly, if Janna peels him correctly, they have a lot of different options that they can deal with this Rengar with, but it's gonna be hair trigger quick. They have to really focus on dealing with the kitty cat. It's not impossible, but it's gonna require a shift in the paradigm from what Blue Team has been doing, which has been just really messy fights, cleaning up kills, and taking opportunities where they can get them. They'll have to really hone in onto that one aspect of the fight. As Zakarin gets hit by the arrow, that is a nice placement for it, and there's no Rengar in this fight. Spiky Bits is on a rampage. If Rengar isn't there, then they don't have to shift the paradigm at all. They can just clean up whoever they want to kill. That will be Zayo going down, but MVP has nowhere left to run. Whoa, he got the kill. Genuine surprise there. Didn't expect the damage to be enough. But Spiky Bits will clean up another kill, and speaking of cleaning up, Frost is here for the shutdown gold. Would have been nice had he been there for the beginning of the fight, but he's at least around to take down a few more kills. Going after Tier 1 as well. He gets the Chilling Smite for the guaranteed slow. Returned in kind from Tier 1. Here comes French Trolls. If he can land that stun. No, the Q doesn't connect, and now Frost is probably going to be running rampant. He turns around. He gets the kill into Tier 1. French Trolls is forced to flash away. The bullet connects. There's the stun. French Trolls, he has the damage, and he gets the kill. Unfortunate that first Q didn't connect. Probably would have saved Tier 1's life, but you can't land them all. Oh, the home guards are up. Here comes the home guard teleport Hecarim. Buell is going to go into the tower. However, the Zonius is there. French Trolls. Turns himself into a golden statue. Everyone knows that is the counter to a running horse. And it looks like Hecarim's just going to back away with his tail wagging between his legs. He was a valiant attempt. But Zonius Hourglass is a very powerful item. And it's very good to see that French Trolls has gone into that one after the Luden's Echo, realizing the threat that is presented not only by the Rengar, but also by the Hecarim. Ooh, speaking of threat, Zeo is going in for the kill onto MVP, and look at that damage. That is what I was talking about. It is obscene how heavy hitting those arrows are. Of course, the downside being that Zeo is quite immobile. He's going to have to rely on his team to help him peel. Some good damage there onto Showtime. And going to turn into the turret again. Bring that one down. Outer mid turret falling. It's 31.5 minutes into the game, but at least it's falling. Frost pops the ulti. He doesn't really have a target though. Oh no, Zeo. Now was the wrong time to be doing the Raptor Camp. Frost doesn't land the bullets, but it doesn't matter. He gets the kill anyways. Dodge meant that Ashe was in range just to be walked at. As Buell was there for moral support. Oh, Tier 1 has no moral support. Or any other kind of support. And despite his best attempts, he will go down. Perhaps those weren't his best attempts. Perhaps that is why he went down. Either way, he's still dead, and Frost still has 21 kills. And Spiky Bits is actually doing some really good damage to Frost here, but he caught out all by himself, lands on the trap, still leaps forward. They don't have their Ashe right now. Their Nunu also they don't have. A bit less impactful for this kind of fight. Nunu is more of a protective measure for the Ashe. If the Ashe is gone, then the Nunu's not too much of a big deal. Not only a protective measure, but also with the Blood Boil, adds a huge amount of damage. As the Hunter's Focus doesn't have a specific amount of attacks before it expires, it's just a duration. So if you can get a higher attack speed, the Hunter's Focus is a more powerful ability, simply because you fire more attacks during the time in which you have it active. Nunu Ashe is actually quite a strong combo. I think perhaps we'll be seeing some more. Oh, gold card. MVP is really looking for this fight. Does some good damage to Pengu. It does some really good damage to Pengu, actually. Whoa, nearly got that kill there. And now Frost is coming in to clean up a bit. Gets knocked up by the tornado. Oh, nice hook on the Zeo. Do they have the follow-up? No. The Zap connects, but they still didn't want to go in. Brand Dash a little bit too scary. There's the TF ulti. Where's that one going? Actually, on to Tier 1. Brings him down to half health, but he has some damage of his own at this point. Just base damage alone off of that ulti. It does have quite a bit if it's charged fully. But meanwhile, Kex was pushing the mid lane. I don't know if he gets out of this one alive if French Trolls goes for the engage. Seeing as he does have Tier 1 and Spiky Bits off to the side, the Zap flies out on Spiky Bits. Buell is caught between a wall and an enemy team. And he might actually be the one to be brought down here. The heal burn to give him a little bit of a speed buff. He dodges away from the boomerang, so he avoids the slow. He's going to turn around on Spiky Bits, nearly takes him down. He's at half health. He's going to be ulting to the back lines. This could be really good for Red Team, but they don't have a Rengar. Zeo will pick up the kill. Zex will be brought down as well. Kex, rather. Kex, Zakarin. Swap the letters. And without a Rengar, without a Twisted Fate, there was such a beautiful, beautiful Hecarim ulti. There just wasn't enough follow-up. There was nearly enough follow-up, too. It's so frustrating just to even see that. To see an ulti of that magnitude just kind of go to waste. But there's a time and place for everything, and that was not the time and place for that Hecarim ult. However tempting it looked. Buell gave into temptation. And in the end it ended with a 1-for-2 trade. I think. Oh, here comes Frost onto Zeo, and that is a 1v1 that we very much know the direction of. Pretty much Rengar wins every time. Not too hard to predict the outcome of that particular battle. Zeo way too far up in the lane there, especially with Frost unaccounted for. What I'm saying, not only in their ability usage and in their positioning do they have to account basically only for Frost during these team fights, but they also need to, their map positioning, their warding, all of that, they have to account for Frost. If they don't know where Frost is, they cannot take that fight unless they have a really solid advantage, unless they can kill someone instantly, unless they have someone already dead, something like that. Rengar is so front-loaded with all this damage that he has to be the focus for blue team if they want to win this game. Either that, or we have to see Frost make some kind of massive mistake, be it just not being there during the next 3 fights in a row, or be it getting hit by the wrong CC that really shouldn't have connected and going down for some reason. But it looks like that's not the case so far, as Red Team picks up an easy Baron. Kex does get hit by the snowball, but Tyrwin, again, doesn't have any follow-up. French Trolls is coming in and doing his best. Frost actually gets knocked up. If they can take down this kitty cat, the stun lands, the ult bounces, and Frost is forced into the ulti to try and escape. Pengu gets hit by the hook, but that's just to try and discourage them from chasing. Frost goes into the Raptors for a bit of lifesteal. And they forced his ulti out defensively. That's actually a pretty big deal. If they can go for some kind of push here, they might be able to get something impactful out of it. It does make it a lot harder for Frost to get where he needs to be in a team fight if he doesn't have that ult available. To be fair, though, it's not a terribly long cooldown. As you can see, it's already nearly halfway replenished. Halfway replenished. The English language. It's fun. Dragon will be up fairly soon. Some pings in that direction from blue team, looking to just go and check it most likely, seeing as they do not have vision, or did not have vision on it rather, when it went down. And they actually find Frost in that area. 3v1, I don't think Frost can take that on. I don't think these guys can take on the 3v2 though. The Ash Arrow, no! Spiky Bix throws him out of the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Here comes Buell from the side to finish off a kill, and Spiky Bix has nowhere left to go. The Zonias from MVP saves his last few bits of hit points. And had that ult connected, maybe it could have gone differently. It still was an inopportune moment to choose a fight. But maybe, just maybe, we will never know. Oh, the Yumu's Frost is getting bursted away, and that is what they need to do. Zeo picks up the kill, but French Trolls is where the credit is due. That burst damage from Brand. Coming in as something of a counter to the Rengar, but still, he traded for an inhibitor turret still. That's probably fine. Flash from Zeo just because Buell was near him. Chompers will not connect as Zeo is going for this fight, but Kex had so much backup. Still manages to trade 1 for 1. He was determined to do something. And that is one of the things that can happen when a game goes on this long, when you feel like you're behind the entire time. You can just start doing crazy things because you want to make something happen. You can start running into boxes because you want to make something happen. Tyrwin is going to be going down. Spiky Bits not getting dove into the tower as Buell chooses instead to right-click on the turret itself. And they just can't get a push to stick here. But they did at least get a few extra advantages. Showtime might be going down. He does pop the speed buff to try and escape here, but in the end, it's not enough. There's the flash forward from Spiky Bits again. He lands the wall up, throws MVP against the wall, but it doesn't get the stun. The gold card will hold him in place, and the huge burst from that wild card will set him up for Frost. However, the Zonia's Hourglass keeps him alive a little bit longer, but the double wild card, double kill. Twisted Fate will pick up his 12th and 13th kills of the game, go on to lucky number 13, and head on home back to base. Or actually, no, he's heading on back to the enemy base. This guy has no fear, and right alongside him is Frost. Has an equal amount of fear, but perhaps they should have shown a little bit more. As Zeo, with an Enchanted Crystal Arrow to the face, will pick up a kill. And French Trolls, I believe, brought down the other guy, or perhaps it was Pengu. Either way, Rengar and Twisted Fate a little bit overconfident. But in the end, they're not going to be punished too much for that mistake, because Baron is down. There's no chance of getting rushed. Dragon, not up yet, not too impactful anyways. seeing as there's only 1 or 2 stacks on the other side. 2 stacks, in fact. And there's 2 inhibitors down for blue team. The one will be respawning soon, or so a little voice tells me. And the cooldown, the death timer, is not really too big of a deal for red team. They didn't have to do anything at that moment, so... Admittedly, it's never good to die, but if they had to choose a time to die, that probably would have been the best one. Tier win in basically what's the enemy's jungle at this point. Let's get forced to run away. As Showtime and Zakarin look to clear out the jungle, take a few buffs here and there, push up the wave, and probably wait for their team, i.e. Frost, before looking to go for some sort of engage. Or Buell. Buell, while he's not dishing out the same sort of damage that Frost is, can certainly be quite a useful engagement tool for his team. He's basically the only one aside from a Twisted Fate ulti. Where did Zayo's health go? Frost gets thrown off to the side, but it is way too late. Zayo is already dead, and Pengu is now the target of the knives. Frost goes very, very low, but there's nobody to take him down. Buell will be burned away quite literally by French trolls. So far, a 1-for-1 trade. Frost a little bit more flashy in his kill than French trolls was, but still, even trade so far. But MVP hasn't yet joined into this fight. The wildcards will be bringing Spiky Bits down to half health. Nice flay! Breaks him out of the hop, but MVP will still go down. It is hard to keep a tier win, or a Nunu on tier win, rather, off of an immobile Twisted Fate. And Showtime simply can't bring the peel that he needs to. Maybe they can save this turret, though. Frost coming from the side, gets walloped, taking down to about half health so far, and discouraged from fighting. Chooses to go onto the minions instead as Showtime says, come on, buddy, we could take the fight. But Frost doesn't really want to. He prefers to kill minions. They are much easier to kill, to be fair. They don't try and run away. They don't try and cast spells at you, or kill you, or flash, or anything. They just sit there and turn into gold. It'd be nice if a lot of things sat there and then turned into gold. As it stands, I don't think there's very many things that do that. That will be the 4th dragon stacked up, if I recall correctly. Let's just go ahead and check on that. Dragon Slayer times 4. I can remember numbers. Hire me. I can be, I don't know, your accountant or something. That's all you gotta do, right? 4 stacks for dragon does mean that the 5th is on the horizon, which is something that blue team is going to have to be very scared of. And while I have, a few times during this cast, remarked upon the late-game nature of Ashe, I haven't really talked about the late-game nature of Jinx, partially because Jinx has been around much longer, and so most people will probably already know that, and it'll sound like I'm beating a dead horse. But hell, Buell has died a few times this game, so may as well beat the dead horse anyways. Kex is going to be very scary, is already very scary, and is now starting to become very difficult to kill as well. Frost, no! You were doing the Baron on a ward. Oh, that was beautiful. Isaiah held him up and let the Baron do his dirty work, and then he gets the Baron afterwards, right after using him. Just used him and then murdered him. Zayo has no heart. But he does have a kill. And a Baron buff, so I'll let you guys decide which one is more valuable. They are fighting off super minions. They are holding tooth and nail into this game. Blue team has been dragging this one out. And with that Baron buff, they're probably going to be able to drag it out even further. I don't know if they'll be able to get a victory. I really don't know if that's the case. But they are at least making it take longer. As long as you're not losing, you could be winning. That is the strategy I think they're going with. As Zayo burns away Showtime's health, flashes to the other side of Buell though. Now he's burning away Buell's health. This guy is relentless with his arrows. The ulti comes flying out, but that's not going to matter. Zayo finishes off Buell as Tyrwin looks to try and chase down the enemy bottom lane, but those are boots of mobility. Showtime will be able to create the distance. Twisted Fate ulti is not available right now, so there's not going to be any Destiny to bring him to the bottom lane. And Frost is off doing a buff. This is something that I have noticed a good few times. Frost has a eye for buffs, which has resulted in a few fights with his team where he hasn't been present. Now, it's really unfair to draw the line and say Frost is at fault for that, because possibly his team shouldn't have been in that location to take the fight in the first place. The blame lays equally on both sides. But without placing blame, it is very easy to say that had Frost been in a few of those previous fights, they could have gone quite differently. Zayo! Good God, his health is nearly gone! Frost is going to be popping the ulti and looking to get to the back lines as French Trolls takes on the job of DPS, bringing down the Twisted Fate. The ulti flies out from Jinx, but there's a body block in the way. Now French Trolls going very, very low, but he's got a Zhonya's Hourglass, and Frost will be taken down in the meantime. Spiky Bits lands the wall up onto Showtime, and Ashe, oh good God! That makes up for the last one. That more than makes up for the last one. They didn't get the kill onto Zakarin, but the Gnar ulti threw the body block to the side so that Zakarin got hit by the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and now Buell is looking to try and go for the engage on the Spiky Bits, but he is so tanky. There is so much tankiness on Blue Team just between this Gnar and this Nunu. Zakarin gets chunked down by a crit, and Buell gets a bit more slowly taken down by multiple crits. Secondary turret in the mid lane is going to fall, and if I ever get to making a highlight reel of 100 casts, that Gnar toss, even though it didn't end in a kill, is going to make it in just because it was wonderful. It's hilarious. And the arrows coming by, I don't know if that was planned, if he did it in the thick of the moment, or if it was just accidental. It was really funny. I'm sorry. I don't mean to harp. Nunu ulti burned as Blue Team managed to turn this one around. CC winning the day for them. That and the fact that Zayo didn't quite go down to those wild cards. A little bit more damage from the TF, and we would have seen the kill there. But he was full build. There wasn't any more damage he could squeeze out. That will be the victory for Blue Team, the end of a cast for me, and another 100 casts episode for you guys. Thank you all for watching. My name is Octavian, and I'll be seeing you next time.